what you need to say. Say what you need to say. It's better to say too much than never to say what you need to say.
What is up, my internet friends? It's another Wednesday, another walk and talk. Thank you for tuning in today. Look at where we are. We are back at the park. And yes, it is a little windy. I don't care. I'm just like, it's beautiful out. Let's go do this. So here we are, back outside, and it feels great. Yes, it's another walk and talk. It's that time of the week again. Got a couple updates, like the first podcast, looking at a new house in the latest vlog, things like that. And we'll get to that later on, after I answer your questions, and I pick the new tenant of the week, and give you guys the question for this week. If you're wondering what that tapping sound is, listen. No, I'm not wearing heels. I'm actually on some new shoes. Ready? Oh, yeah, I got heelys. I don't know, I just thought it'd bring something fun to the table. I'm not gonna do it all the time here in the walk and talks. Just, hey, shut up. Wow, it actually worked. Sorry. I feel rude now. Before we can get to answering your questions, I have to show your answers for last week's question being, if you could spend the day with anyone, living or dead, who would it be, what would you do, and why? And I'm just gonna stream through these answers real quick because I know there wasn't a walk and talk last week. I do apologize again for that, guys. But anyways, Alyssa Scott 08 answered her father. So it's a very personal message. It was supposed to be a video response, but nonetheless, her answer is very personal, and I appreciate. I'm not wanting you guys to spill your guts or anything, and to be in the box of awesome, but I like when people give a very honest answer. And Alyssa's been one of the truest people I've ever known online, so definitely her. The One True Flame answered Jack the Ripper. Chocolate Lab 006 said her grandma, and I like that too. And JoeVlogsTV said John Lennon. Yeah, John Lennon. And I agree with all those answers. So one of you will be in the box of awesome for the next 7 days. And with that, we go to the questions for this week. Well, they were supposed to be for last week, but we go to the questions this week, and let's get started, or ready to rumble, or roll, or not, because I fell. Anyways, let's get to the questions. The first question comes from Alright Jess, and she asked, how do you feel about the platypus? I have a feeling this question stems from what Kevin Smith said at the beginning of Dogma with all that text and stuff. I have got no problems with the platypus. The platypus is cool. He can come chill at my place. We'll share a couple drinks, party hardy, and yeah, like a platypus would do that. Not that I'm saying a platypus can't party. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not, you know, going, whatever. Yeah, awkward. I have no problem with the platypus. I think platypus is cool. Mixing 3 creatures together to create one, I think that's awesome. Got no problems with them at all. We can share the same air for all I care, and we do, because they live on this planet, and I'm making a fool of myself. I have no problems with the platypus, so thanks, Jess, for the question. And we shall move on to the next question, or roll to the next question. And it comes from JoeVlogsTV, and he asked if you could go back in time to any one event in history and watch, what would it be and why? That's a tough one. Just one event in history and watch. Just one event. That's tough, just to pick just one. There's a lot of things. You know, I can't pick just one. It's gonna be between one or two. I know it's undecisive, but it's because both of these are equal. I would either go back in time, listen to Martin Luther King's speech, I Have a Dream, probably go back in time and listen to that myself. And if not that, I would go back in time and listen to the Bobby Kennedy speech in Indianapolis after Dr. King had been killed. Because both of the speeches are amazing speeches, some of the greatest speeches in history. And I would just love to be there when that happened from the future. Those moments in time really mean a lot to me, when people are fighting for freedom and equality and things like that. You don't really see that anymore these days. I don't know anyone these days that made a speech like that. Yeah, it'd probably be one of those two. Oh, and someone else asked a similar question. The Mystery Gamer, it was basically the same thing, but he asked, who would you tell about the future? Same question. If you could go back in time and meet someone, who would you tell about the future? For the sake of answering, I would probably tell Bobby Kennedy. I'd say, don't go in that kitchen. Don't go through the kitchen. Find another way. I know that whoever assassinated him would eventually get him, but I'd tell him that he would have made a big difference in what the future turned out to be like. I think he would have made a very big difference in how the world would be now had he not been killed. But things happen for a reason. Things are the way they are now because of what happened already, so that's my answer. Those are the two moments in time I would probably go back and see, and that's the person I would tell about the future if given the chance. So thank you guys for the question. I know I kind of mushed your questions together, but they're basically the same things. But thank you nonetheless, and we shall jump to the next question, and it comes from the Ghost of Sabotage, and he asks, and I'll have to read this. You come across an old manor, no one's lived there for a while, you feel like something's not right, and you see dark shapes darting back and forth in the shadows. Will you go inside? No! That's just like asking for death in a horror movie. Why would you do that? Why would you go into a house? Well, I don't know. You know, I did say you have to live your fears. You know, I did say you have to live your fears and you have to experience them. And I don't know, if I felt like there was something gonna murder me inside, I wouldn't go. But if I felt it's just spirits or whatever, you know, spirits can't really hurt you as far as I know. I'd probably go inside, take a couple pictures and leave, but I wouldn't go inside and stay. That's for sure. It sounds scary enough as it is. I'd probably go inside depending on the situation, just at least to add to my experience bank and take some pictures. I need to gain some more XP. Thank you, man, for the question. We move on to the next one, and it comes from my friend Lenny at his channel, I Like Dog Chit 92, and he asks first-person shooter games or third-person shooter games. And I personally like first person. I really like first person shooters. I can play a third person like Uncharted. Like Uncharted is my favorite third person shooter game ever. But I do like first person shooters. So it's first person shooter then third person shooter in that order. And he also asked, great graphics or a great storyline? And I will go with a great storyline. I will deal with crappy graphics and everything as long as the story is really, really good. See, like, there's a lot of good games that were on the PlayStation 1 and the graphics are crappy compared to what they are today. But I'll still play those old PlayStation 1 games because I love the story, because the story is so good. The original Metal Gear Solid game, the original Silent Hill, Resident Evil 2. There's so many games out there that the graphics were, at the time, they were good, but when you think about them now, they're crappy compared to what we have now. But even though they look kind of crappy these days, I still play them because of the story. So I'd have to go with story, hands down, over graphics. But thank you, Lenny, for the question. And we move on to the next ones, and it comes from Chocolate Lab 006, and she asked, what happened to Clone Toby that number 5 had made for me? And you know what? A lot of you guys have actually come up to me asking about the clones. When are the clones coming back? Soon, very soon. I promise. I'm missing them myself. As much as I hate to admit it, I'm missing them myself, and they might be coming back, so keep an eye out. But specifically what happened to Clone Toby, or Dog Clone, he's still around. He's okay, he's good, he's well fed, he's fine. We're keeping him around. I thought I was gonna have to give him up or whatever, but we're keeping him around for sure. He's gonna be in a future skit or something. I know that's a fact. So just keep a lookout. I promise you guys, clones will be coming back eventually. So there you go. And we'll go ahead and move on to the next question. It comes from the One True Flame, and he asked, there's 3 doors with different fields on them: filming, gaming, and business. And behind each door, you know, is basically the pathway to accomplishing this field. But also behind this door is a riddle in order to go through it. And the riddle is harder for whichever one of these fields that I like the most. So for example, if I liked gaming most, the riddle behind the door for gaming is harder than the other 2, and so on and so forth. But basically, which door would I choose? So it's like, if I wanted to go in business more than anything else, the riddle would be harder in the door for business than any of the other doors. I would have to go with filming, despite the fact that the riddle would probably be hard. I don't know what the riddle would be. He said he doesn't know either, but just that there would be something to do with that field as a riddle. So I'd go with filming because I know more about that than anything else, so I'd probably go with filming. And yeah, that's my answer. Gaming, not so much. Business would have to be a close second because that makes a lot of sense to choose business. But yeah, thank you for the question, man. I choose filming. And we'll move on to the next question, and it comes from Red Monsterification. And he asks, okay, you're sitting alone in a room in the middle of a spotlight, and outside of the spotlight is pitch black, and you hear noises in the darkness. What goes through your mind, and what would you do to escape? Let's think of it this way. If I woke up and I was in that scenario, sitting in a chair in the middle of a spotlight in a dark room, heard noises, first thing that goes through my mind is this thing that's in the dark afraid of the light? The next thing I would think of is, okay, there has to be a way out of here if I got in here. So there has to be a way out. Even if they lock whatever door they use to get me in here, there's a way out somehow. It's just a matter of finding it. And hi, plane. What would I do to escape? I don't really know. I don't know if this thing in the darkness is gonna eat me. I don't know if this thing is friendly or not, if I could win it over somehow. I don't know. I know eventually I can't wait in there forever. I'd probably wait a little bit and see what happens. Try to listen for things. Aside from the noises in the darkness, I try to listen if I could hear anything else. If I can hear or sense a wall anywhere near me that I could probably feel for a door. But eventually I'd probably make a run for it through the darkness. I'd probably stand as close as I could to the darkness and try to get my eyes to adjust, and then just try to bolt for whatever direction I feel most safest. I'd just let my senses try to take control. But that's probably what I would do. And thank you, man, for that question. I actually like that one, that kind of a scenario. Thank you very much for that. And we move on to the next one, which comes from Slideshows Forever, and he asked, Fallout or Call of Duty? And that's a good question, and I would have to choose Fallout. I am a big fan of the Call of Duty series. Followed it from when it was back on PC and PlayStation 1, or was it PlayStation 2? I don't remember. I followed it for a long time, and honestly, I prefer Fallout over Call of Duty just because of the fact in Fallout you can really do whatever you want. It's open world. The story unfolds however you want it to unfold, and yeah, I would have to choose Fallout. Call of Duty, the multiplayer, nah, not such a big fan. I don't even play it as much anymore. But the story, I think the stories were good during Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2. That's my answer, Fallout over Call of Duty. And thank you for the question. And we move on to the last question this week, and it comes from Ilissa Scott 08, and she asks, what is your favorite quality about Tiff? And likewise for her and on you. Well, Tiff unfortunately isn't here. She's at work, but I'll answer my part at least. My favorite quality about Tiff is, let me think. I'd have to say it'd probably be that she cares about people. She has a genuine heart on her. Tiffany's one of those people. She really cares about people even though they don't deserve it sometimes. But she does have a limit. Like once somebody does something that she feels is wrong, then she's like cuts them off. Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad thing when I say cuts them off. I mean, like if somebody's a flat out liar and is hurting somebody, that's when she's like, yeah, I'm not all about that, you know. She'll stop right there. But other than that, if you're just a genuinely nice person and one of our friends, she'll bend over backwards for you. That's one thing I really like about her. And with that, we shall go ahead and announce our tenant this week. So let's go! Alright, you guys, this week's tenant in the Box of Awesome is Ilissa Scott 08. And the reason is because she really opened up with her answer. And I'm also gonna actually put Chocolate Lab 006 in the Box of Awesome as well. Everyone who answered had great answers, but there can only be one or two people in the Box of Awesome. Just Ilissa and Chocolate Lab, you're gonna have to share the space. Luckily, the tenants in the Box of Awesome, or the space in the Box of Awesome, is fit for two, so you guys should have more than enough space for that. And if you would like to see yourself in the Box of Awesome for 7 days, all you have to do is answer the question of the week. This week's question is, what is your favorite movie quote, and from what movie did it come from? Leave your answer in the comment section below, or make it a video response if you feel fancy like that. And don't forget to leave your question for next week's Walk and Talk as well. I'll feature your video responses in the next week's Walk and Talk for both your answer and your question, so there you go. Other than that, the latest vlog is up where me and Tiffany go and check out a new house and some other things that happened. It's a weekly vlog, so go check it out if you haven't already. And the next podcast, my first podcast is already up. My second one should be coming up in the next couple days. It's going through some testing right now between some people, and keep a lookout for that. Again, that's on my blog page. That's BelieveInFateBlog.tumblr.com. Go and check it out. Follow it if you haven't. If you don't have a Tumblr, you can like my Facebook page. It's facebook.com/BelieveInFateVideos. So there you go. And that's about it for this week. I'm just so glad to be out here again finally for the Walk and Talk. It feels really, really great. And with that, I shall bid you guys adieu. Whoa, okay. Goodbye. I'm having way too much fun with these things. And I want each and every single one of you to know that all of you are the best friends and subscribers in the entire world. And as always, you guys, keep on vlogging.